Buenos dias, buenas tardes y buenas noches. Bonjour, bonsoir. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you may be. Jay Slater case. Chosen background of the day is the beautiful cathedral, the Duomo, it's called, the Duomo of Milano in Italy. And this is taken from Lucy May News, Lucy May Laws, Lucy May Gregory Laws Facebook account. And there she is walking towards the Duomo of Milan. I did want to focus today on Lucy's travels because they are extraordinary. For someone so young with no obvious source of income, Lucy does travel an awful lot and to very nice places. In fact, she seems to do nothing but that. And so the obvious question arises, where does Lucy's travel money come from? Is Lucy a very big earner, but she's very discreet about her job? That is possible. That is possible. If anyone out there knows what Lucy's job is, all of the accident group do, because all of the accident group communicate with um, Ivor Lovelace, and Ivor Lovelace knows Lucy, so Ivor knows the answers. Accident Group know the answers. We don't. That's why we have to keep fishing. But any of the Accident Group, if you want to spill the beans and tell us what Lucy's job is, that would be great, because there is nothing in Lucy's social media ever indicates what her job is, what her source of income is. She may not have a job, of course. She may not have a job. She may be independently wealthy because her postman father, Adam Gregory, or her midwife mum, Bex Law, is so affluent they decided Lucy doesn't have to work, that she has, you know, an infinite income handed to her like a trust fund kid just to travel wherever she wants. That is entirely possible. Or she might have some kind of sugar daddy. I don't know, someone that refers to Lucy as his gal. Yeah, you're bossing it, gal. Someone, a man of means. I don't know, someone that retired from a very lucrative job like working on an oil rig. Maybe someone from West Wales with several boats. Maybe he's the generous type to say, Magal, here's all the money you need to go where you want, do whatever you want. Maybe that is the source of Lucy's income. What now, having a look at this photo here, if we just look at the photo of Lucy walking towards Milan Cathedral, from the back end of Lucy, I'm just going to be honest here and say, I don't think Lucy is a catwalk model. I don't think she has the figure for that, just judging from this view. But I may be wrong. I may be wrong. Maybe that is the new in size for modeling. But where does Lucy's income come from? Um, Ivor Lovelace, Ivor Lovelace tells us that there's no drugs involved here. In fact, what he posted when he was explaining about that night before Jay disappeared, he said, Lucy went first. She tired means no drugs. Lucy went first. She tired means no drugs. That is an odd statement. Just because you go to bed early doesn't mean you're not on drugs, I don't think. If you go to bed early, you could be on drugs that knocked you out. You might not be on drugs. I don't see the two go together. Lucy went first. She tired. No drugs. All of this I featured, by the way, on my community post, justice4j.com. That's where I post everything these days. If you're missing my posts, you're not logging on to justice4j.com. So this info in a different format is on justice4j.com. Yeah, Lucy went first. She tired means no drugs. So if you're tired, it seems like Ivor Lovelace says if you're tired, that means no drugs involved. It's interesting. I wonder if the International Olympic Committee, when they're doing their random drugs tests of Olympic athletes, I wonder if they say, hey, first question, are you tired? Go to bed early last night, did you? And depending on your answer, they say, oh, well, in that case, you can't be on drugs. It's an odd one. Lucy went first. She tired means no drugs. Well, anyway, what I have noticed is that Ivor Lovelace in particular, whenever I start mentioning facts or start speculating or theorizing or putting out a few ideas there about Lucy, He goes into absolute meltdown. He really does. He goes into, who are you accusing of doing what? Lucy's innocent, Lucy's this, Lucy's that. It's almost like she is some kind of pet. And for sure, once this is out there, once this video is out there, you'll see there'll be a reaction from the professor of Pisspot University. He will offer us yet another, I guess, attack on me for pointing out the bloody obvious. That I think there probably is some kind of narco involvement here with Lucy's income. That's what it seems to me. That's my theory, my speculation, I'm alleging that's what it seems to me, because I haven't noticed the travel patterns in other 17 and 18-year-olds. And yet Lucy's travel goes back that far. When she's 17 and 18, she's been traveling to these rather exotic places. I haven't noticed it in anyone that young isn't involved in some nefarious or illegal activity. I just haven't. So I'm happy to be corrected. If either Lovelace or any of the accident group want to come forward and say I can totally explain where this travel money comes from, please. That would be illuminating, and we'd all be happy to hear it. So just to run through Lucy's travel adventures, 2023. Well, it's now 2026. 2023. How old was Lucy? 17? Was she not 18 when Jay disappeared and died? 2023. I think Lucy was 17, I think. Here's her travel list. Now, I won't bore you with the whole list because the whole list includes Tenerife many times. So if we add Tenerife in there every time, the whole list is full of Tenerife. But here's the list. Budapest in 2023, Tenerife, Zante in Greece in 2023, Tunisia twice. That's odd. I'll get back to Tunisia twice. Benidorm. Which travel year is complete without a quick trip to Benidorm? Budapest again, Amsterdam, famous for a non-drug activity place. Well, not really. St. Anne, Jamaica. How many 17-year-olds fly solo over to Jamaica? And Manchester. Yeah, I might not have put Manchester on my travel list for 2023, even if I had been there, but some find Manchester a very appealing place. There we go. So let's go back to Tunisia. Tunisia in March 30th and Tunisia July 15th of 2023. So 4 months apart, more or less, 2 visits to Tunisia. Why I find that interesting is because I've been to Tunisia, didn't spend a lot of time there, met a lot of people that have been there, and I've never met anyone that said they so loved Tunisia that they had to go back a second time that same year. I have never met anyone that said that, done that, wanted to do it. I mean, you get a feel as you get older in life for how certain people view certain places. And in my experience, in my decades of experience traveling, I just haven't come across anyone that said Tunisia had to go back there 3 or 4 months later was such a great place. I find that one bizarre. Tunisia in March and July of 2023. Yeah, St. Anne's, Jamaica. I know the Caribbean pretty well. I would say it's a very, very adventurous young female solo traveler that goes to Jamaica. It just is. It's if Adam the father and Bex the mother and Maggie the grandmother encouraged that and said, "Yeah, you'll be fine. Ain't nothing going to happen to a 17-year-old girl in Jamaica. Go ahead." I would say they were a little irresponsible, but maybe Lucy was going there knowing someone already there. I don't know. I'm just saying it's an odd one. It is an odd one. St. Anne, Jamaica, solo, 17 years old. 2024, we get, for Lucy, we get a lot of Spain. We've got Ibiza, I think, twice. Tenerife, of course. Jumping to 2025, this freaked me out a little bit. Malta in February. Oh, I was there in January of 26. Barcelona, it's very close to my neck of the woods, 2025, January. I wonder if Lucy May Gregory Law was stalking me and Mrs. Smith in Malta and Barcelona. No, because it was 2025. Milan, yes, there we have Milan, the beautiful facade of the cathedral in Milan, and the lady with the the lady walking towards it. And Amsterdam again in 2025. Amsterdam seems to be a favorite place. I don't know what goes on in Amsterdam that would appeal to Lucy May Gregory Law. Don't know. Don't know. I also noticed, by the way, that Ivor Lovelace on his boat, he was sporting an Amsterdam, very nice T-shirt, I must say, Amsterdam shirt. Yes. Kaz Alice mentioned it, and I noticed it. Yeah, Luggy's Amsterdam T-shirt. Hmm. So, yeah, who is funding all this? What is Lucy's job? And yeah, the sources of income to pay for all this. What I notice with younger people on their social media is when they do have a job, they're quite proud of it. They like to show the world either them at their job or they give it a quick plug. I think that's normal, not just with young people, but particularly with young people because it's that stepping stone into adult life. The teenagers that I've taught are, very exuberant about that first job and what their job is. They love to talk about it. They like to be questioned about it. I think as you get on in adulthood, you tend to put the whole job thing aside. In fact, you stop talking about it. You realize it's a bit of a bore for everyone to know that, this is my job, this is what I do. Da, da, da. So, it becomes less important. What strikes me that's odd with Lucy's profile here is if she has a job, if she is earning independently, she's absolutely determined to keep it a secret, as opposed to Jay Slater, visibly putting out the videos of him, boogieing as he's doing his construction work as the trainee mason and all that, bricklayer. Yeah, I don't think I've seen any social media post where Lucy ever talks about her job. That in itself, that absence is, I think, kind of telling. But I am willing to be corrected. If you know of any teenager that has been 2023, 2024, 2025 to Budapest, Tenerife, Zante, Tunisia twice, Benidorm, Budapest, Amsterdam, St. Anne, Jamaica, Manchester, Malta, Barcelona, Milan, Amsterdam again. And that is just a small sampling to and fro from Tenerife all the time. Let me know, because it may be that this is the current trend among the British youth. It's not eating or heating, it's where to next, because it all really is so inexpensive to keep traveling like this, it would seem. All right, let's leave it there. I will say hasta luego, hasta la vista, hasta la próxima. See you next time from Milano, Italy. Yes, Milano, Italy. On the way to Tunisia for the second time, for whatever reason. Hasta luego.